From Showhawk Media, this is Filmmaking Footnote with your host, Michael Hall. You're listening to Episode 2. This is the show where we give you the best filmmaking and production information so you can make the best project possible without having to spend a bunch of time or money at film school. Let's do it. Hey guys, it's Michael Hall. I am so happy to have you here for our second installment of Filmmaking Footnote. Today we are jumping right into it and we are talking Abby Singer. Abby Singer. So if you've heard that name before, or if you've heard that word before, if you've been on set and you've heard that and you just don't know what that means, you're not alone. I remember the very first time I was on set and I heard the term Abby Singer shot, and I looked around and everyone seemed to know what was being talked about, and I had no idea. I felt so out of the loop. And it just felt so commonplace for everyone to know, like, oh, Abby Singer. This is the Abby Singer shot. And crew started moving really fast. People started moving around. People were breaking down lights. And I was a complete newbie, so I just stood around and was like looking around at my boss, like, what's going on? And so I remember I went and looked it up later because I didn't want to seem completely out of place. You know, it was my first job, and so I wanted to save face as much as I could. And so I went and looked it up, and I will read you the exact, I remember the exact webpage I pulled up. So let me read you the exact terminology. This is from the IMDb filmmaking terminology page. So the Abby Singer is the second to last shot of the day, named after the production manager, Abby Singer, who would frequently call last shot of the day, or this shot and just one more, only to have the director ask for more takes. See also martini shot. So I looked that up and still didn't quite get it. I guess I was a little slow that day. And so I looked it up. I went back to set. And over time, as I was on set more often and got more experience, and people kept talking about the Abby Singer shot, I realized, oh, it's literally the second to last shot of the day. So when you are on set and someone says you're on the Abby Singer, that means that you have this current shot that you're on, and then you have one more, and you're done for the day. So it's kind of a weird term, Abby Singer, and you might be asking yourself, why is it called the Abby Singer? So I just read it in the description I looked up, but Abby Singer he's a production manager who's around for a really long time. He was around in the 1950s, 60s, and worked through, I want to say, the late 90s. And it was his role early in his career. He was an assistant director where he kept time on set. So an assistant director's role on set is to keep time, to keep the crew moving, and to let everybody know how many shots are left. So if you're ever on set and you hear someone on the radio calling out what shot is left, how much more time there is, or if you hear someone say you're on the Abby Singer, it's most likely an assistant director. So he came up with this method early in his career because he was of the mindset that time equals money, which is true. I mean, I'm a producer, so I know that time is money, especially when you're on set. You're paying so many people to be there, and the more time that you're spending on set, the more money you're going to spend. You're much more likely to go into overtime if people are just hanging out and you're not efficient with people's time on set. And so what he would do is when they were nearing the end of the day, he would specifically say, we have this shot and one more. And the reason he would do that is because if he said, we're on the second to last shot of the day, that gave the crew enough time to start wrapping everything up so that the director could still focus on the shot, but the rest of the crew could start breaking down their equipment that wasn't being used on the shot so that they could think ahead a little bit and pack all their gear up. And then once they got to the last shot of the day, which is called the martini shot, they were already a step ahead. And once they were on the martini, they could just wrap out the crew the equipment that was being used for the specific shot. So nowadays it's just used for the very last shot of the day, but he actually used to say, whenever they would move locations even, he would say, this shot and one more. And so that's where that term comes from. If you're ever on a set and you hear, we're on the Abbey Singer, that means you should probably start breaking your shit down real fast because everyone around you is going to start moving really fast. And you don't want to get left behind. You don't want to look like you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. And you want to be really efficient with your time. Whenever you're on a set, you want to be really, really efficient. So there you go. If you are brand new to a set and you start hearing that term being thrown around a lot and people are looking at you like you need to be moving faster, it probably means that you should start moving a little bit faster. I know that when I was on my very first sets, I got the stink eye a couple times. So you're not alone, but just keep that in the back of your mind so that you are ready and prepared once you start hearing people throw that term around. If you have any questions about the Abbey Singer shot, feel free to hit me up. filmmakingfootnote.com/2. That'll take you to our website and you can leave a comment there. And I'm happy to jump in to the comments and answer any questions that you might have. And if you have not subscribed to the show yet, I know that we're only on episode number 2. Please do so. You will get this show updated and in your inbox every single day. And then you'll be able to listen to all the good stuff that we have. And I'm going to leave you with that for today. Tomorrow we are going to be jumping in and talking a little finance. We're going to be talking above the line expenses and just in general, what does above the line mean? So I will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you again for listening and giving the show a shot. I really, really appreciate it. Any feedback is really welcome. And again, go to filmmakingfootnote.com/2, and I would love to hear from you there. See you tomorrow.